want everybody to know that we are live. This is the IOC Daily Edge, day 3. I'm Jay Lawrence. I am your tour guide for the day. One thing I want to make sure that we are clear on is that we do this because you are worth it, and we want you to be able to learn, get some things from this 8 o'clock a.m. Pacific Standard Time session. It's a half hour. We are really focusing on pouring into you the things that's going to actually be additive to your life so you can really live in profit mode. Now, this is for business, right? But again, everybody's business life spills over to their personal life, right? And so I think it's supremely important for us to take ownership for the fact that, you know what? I have to do the things that I have to do because I need to be able to flourish personally. So that means we need to be doubling down on our business life, right? And there's things that we all should be doing on a daily basis to ensure the following: that when you wake up inspired, that when you go to bed at night, you have at least taken the time to give yourself a download, or maybe you have a notepad, at your bedside, and you're simply writing down the things that you're grateful for that particular day, right? And then you also ended by simply saying, here's the thing that I want to accomplish tomorrow morning. It could be a question, it could be a task, it could be whatever you need, but you're going to write that down and you're going to get that thing on that tablet. Even if it's on your phone, maybe it's on your iPad, or obviously if you have a notepad by the bed, you want to dump that onto that particular device, and then, as they say, give it to the universe, right? Allow your subconscious to tap in, to this greater universal power, because it's a real thing. You tap into it, allow it to help to come up with that solution, to give you that guide, right? To give you that map. So when you wake up, you know exactly what to do, how to do it, when to do it, why to do it. And the great thing is that that's a daily practice. So today we're really going to be focusing on sort of like the things that you do that will ensure that on a daily basis that you are great, right? So you're counting on yourself more than anything else, right? Like the only person that we as individuals can actually lay claim to and take ownership for is us. Me, myself, and I, right? Like you have to be able to do that thing. The problem is sometimes it's so busy, right? Life, we got all kinds of things happening, particularly in the morning, right? There's a lot of movement. If in fact you have a traditional, Monday through Friday, let's call it 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. sort of work life, somewhere in there. If that's who you are, which it's probably, 80, 85% of Americans that kind of have that type of schedule as a primary. Some people have a second job, right? And really, some people have a third job. Depends on what your personal economy is, right? So the one thing that we want to focus on, one thing we need to make sure is, number one, that if you need to be able to sort of pour into yourself, you need to be able to find some quiet time for you to take the time to organize your thoughts, not via stress, but by strategy. And that time typically is the first moment you open your eyes, right? Practice. If you need to, maybe you're going to shift your schedule back just 15 minutes, right? But giving yourself 15 minutes of morning meditation time, oh my God, you're talking about a superpower that when you tap into it, you're going to literally wonder why you have not done this before. It's a very intentional thing. This is a thing that is really, it's the secret sauce. There is not a wildly successful individual on this planet who has not figured out how to stop the world, set it aside for a period of time, and just be one, like you and the universe. You're just one with it, right? The one great thing is that when you take that time and you practice this every single day, right? There's 7 days of the week, and there's 7 days of the week you're going to wake up, right? So let's not try to carve out, I'm going to do this every other day. Nope. You do this daily. This is your time. No one else owns this time. You take it no matter what's happening around you. You take the time. And the easiest time to do it is to do it. So, if I was at 5:30 a.m. or 6:30 a.m., or I don't know who's getting up at 7:30 unless you are you know, if you're a 730 person, congratulations. That means that you're independently wealthy and you own completely your own time, your own calendar. You can do what you want, when you want, how you want. And that's the goal that every person pretty much in America, I don't know what they're doing in other countries, but I know in America, when you can control your own calendar, your own time, your own clock, and you have no stress associated with that, that really is the holy grail. But for the vast majority of us, there is a specific time that you're waking up on a daily basis. Let's assume that time is 6 a.m. How difficult is it for you to take your Apple Watch or your whatever watch or your phone, your whatever device you're using, and just simply set it 15 minutes earlier for it to gently help you open your eyes? And your intention when you open your eyes is immediately to get into your meditation. So I'm going to share something personally with you guys. As it is, I, growing up in the Bay Area, really in Berkeley, right, in that area, my parents were hippies. Okay, let's just say it, right. They, came out of the 60s and the 70s, and my parents, one of the things they focused on was making sure that we as a family had a core where we were able to meditate. So we literally focused on, and I had to do a class starting at 9 years old, right? And we did this. It was a 9-month experience. We went to an ashram. And as it turns out, it was a kind of a weekend thing, but every weekend for 9 months, we went and learned how to meditate. So transcendental meditation at the tender young age of 9, and completing this particular, segment of my life, the course segment, by the time I was 10 years old, I have been a transcendental meditation practitioner for 50 years. Okay. Anybody can do the math. You know how old I am, right? The key is that because of that consistency of being able to just sort of like take the time, my own time, no matter what's happening in my life, I always take the time as soon as I wake. The first thing I do is I spend a minimum of 15 minutes and I just go into my state, my meditative state, right? There is, we what, like every person who meditates, there is a mantra, right? And a mantra is the thing of which that it's sort of like the super secret that there's only three entities that know. It was the, the individual, the practitioner that actually assigned that mantra, for you, yourself, and the universe, right? Oh, let me dispel the myth for all of those that are mired. Every time I say universe, like, what does he mean? What does he mean? Some people think space. Well, yes, but what the universe is, and one of my colleagues, one of my friends, he asked me one day. He says, "Jay, what's the Latin definition of the word universe?" And I scratched my head. I go, "I don't know, Kenny. What is it?" And he says, "Uni, one, verse, voice." So the Latin definition of universe is one voice. And so if you really focus on it, it's one voice of God, right? So anytime you hear universe, I want everybody to kind of flip it and know that we're really saying God, but because there's so many different ways to say it, you may as well say God in a universal language, right? No pun intended, universe, right? So however you tap in, that would be the third entity that knows your mantra, meaning that no one, you have to have something in life that is wholly yours, that you share with no one. It is your safe place. This is the value of mantra. This is also the value of meditation. It's meditation and prayer is there's it's different. I mean, I grew up in a household that, one of my grandfather's cousins, grandfathers, but big family, right? He was a Baptist minister, and he had established, his church in our community. And so I, grew up going to church on Sundays and Wednesdays. And so I understand, at least I understand wholly the Baptist, the Christian Baptist methodology and what it means to be, steeped in that particular religion. Obviously, I've read the Bible, the Deeks Bible. I've got that part. But what I want to share is that there's different in reading something in the Bible and then having thought around that and then praying for that thing, where meditation is really about the universal self. It's about you and your tapping into what the real power of the universe, like the power of universal mind, like what that really is. If you don't know, now you know. It is an opportunity for you to give yourself this sort of this unfair advantage for those who don't know. That's kind of the way I see it, right? Like tapping into your superpower, which is really tapping into the universe. It allows you to sort of be one, and it allows you to be able to be a voyeur, right? You're there, you're watching, like this is an active participation thing, right? When you're walking through meditation, you should be in this location, this stasis, that there you are, you're receiving all of this downloads, and you're making a conscious decision to be a conduit for the universe. And what do I mean when I say that? I mean that there is something known as infinite intelligence. And this thing, infinite intelligence, is what the universe is. Like there are no original ideas. You'll hear that many, many times in your life. Okay. But what the definition of like no original ideas is that in the universe, all of the energy, all of the notions, all of the opportunities, it's already there, right? It's all around you. It's omnipresent. This is the beauty of being a tap in at this level. So when I share with you that through your meditation, you're actually practicing becoming a practitioner, right? You're practicing of being this individual that could take these downloads from which is infinite intelligence, and then you just push it right there back into our society. Like you're being super additive. So when you sit in a meeting, if you meditate in the morning and then you have to sit on a Zoom, or you're going to go to a physical office, or whatever you're doing, you're going to a store, if you're working retail, however you have to do the things that you do work wise to create the income, of which that is eventually, if you're doing it correctly, income turns into profit, thus that you can invest. If you're doing all of these things, like this is our intention, right? But it starts with you being able to tap into the universe, being able to tap into and doing this on a consistent practice basis, right? You need to be a practitioner of your meditation. You will come to the point, and you'll know when it happens, because you'll be sitting in a conversation with other human beings, or you'll be sitting down at your iPad or on your Mac or wherever you are, wherever you're computing, and however you're taking what's in your brain and you're putting it tactilely, you're putting that information onto a device, right? So you can then share it, post it, whatever you're going to do. When you tap into your meditation in the morning, and when you, like I said, before you go to bed, if you take the burning question and you write it on a tablet and you set it next to your bed, and when you wake up, you wake up with meditation, magic has already happened. By the time you take your Apple Pencil, or you take your pen or paper or your whiteboard, or however you're going to articulate this thing, whatever that response is, it will be so complete. The feeling that you have is so, it allows you such a tap into such a power that there is no better superpower than that. Like Robert Cialdini says it best. So around these parts, in Insiders Only Club, we are major practitioners of the Cialdini method, right? And this is a whole nother show that I'll dive into what that really means. But just know that this gentleman wrote the book Influence. He wrote several books around persuasion, and then he wrote the seminal book about persuasion. And so what it really means is that we focus on making sure that we set the table ahead. So we actually are creating epiphanies for ourselves, aha moments, but we're also creating epiphanies for our audience, for our fans, for our followers, for our clients, for our membership. We're providing that. This is what Insiders Only Club does, is that we position the knowledge that we have, which is expansive, right? I'm going to share something with you guys in a few minutes, which is expansive. But we're sharing it with you because we know we are tapping into infinite intelligence. There is no subject that we cannot track down where we can provide the type of knowledge that you need to do what? I shared this with you before. Like Google built one of the most prolific businesses ever to grace humanity. It's called Google search, right? You can go up and search on something, and it's going to give you a treasure trove of information, right? Well, where the rubber meets the highway, as it said, is that the difficulty is taking that almost unlimited information and distill it down to knowledge. You see, I personally have been kind of thinking and walking through and working through these things. And so, again, on another episode of show, I'm going to share with you the 10 steps to mastery, right? I'll walk through each one with you so you'll clearly understand like what the whole logic behind it, why it's so rational, why when you actually follow these and you practice these 10 steps to mastery, you become a master of many things, not just one thing, right? You can master many things because there's a construct here, a framework. If you follow it, you're going to actually be able to master and fill in the blank. I want to be a master of fill in the blank. This is what the 10 steps to mastery is. So somebody remind me in the chat, make sure you comment, hey, I want to know what the 10 steps to mastery is. I will make sure that I actually do a show just on that. But let's get back to the meditation component. The fact is that the reason we talk about the Cialdini method is that we are on a daily basis, we are focusing on one of the greatest things that can happen to you throughout the day. What is that? Is experiencing epiphany, right? I mentioned it, like the aha moment. It is a thing. Like having an aha moment is like you get like these, the endorphin, the dopamine, all of these sort of releases of all these brain chemicals that are giving you this experience of, it's almost like revelation, right? It's this experience of like goosebump moments. All of that happens when you have this individual acceptance of truth. You're like, I got it. Now, imagine yourself practicing unleashing epiphanies, aha moments. Imagine that you can actually practice this to whereas you actually have these sort of aha moments on a daily basis. Like, you mean to tell me I don't have to wait and be surprised when it happens? No, 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 no. When you're tapping into your daily meditations, when you actually are intentional in giving yourself the opportunity to actually pour into these things, right? What ends up happening is that you start to recognize when you tapped into infinite intelligence, you know that there's a download, you start to articulate something and you yourself have an epiphany and other people in the room will have the same. It's energetic. They will have the exact same experience that you have. Imagine being with your colleagues at work and everybody's, you guys are in a meeting and you go, I got it. If we do A, B, C, that's going to actually lead us to exactly what we want to do. And other people, they'll look up to the left. I don't know what that is, right? They'll look up to the left and they're like, you're right. You see, that energy is accomplished when you practice every day getting to that point. It's a thing. So I don't know how many NBA fans we have, right? That right now we have the NBA finals that's going on, and everybody's talking about basketball in certain circles. But there was a basketball player years ago, and he did an interview because he did not want to go to practice. His name is Allen Iverson, right? The answer. That dude is no joke, right? He was one of the best and still one of the top, I would say, 10 ball handlers and personalities in the NBA ever, right? And what he said was, so this member of the media was asking him, so why are you late? What's going on? I understand you got penalized or fined by the team. And he said, yeah, I got penalized. He goes, what are we talking about? Practice? Talking about practice, man? You talking about practice, right? Well, why is that practice so important to a ball player? Because it's not just him, it's the team. You see, one man that doesn't want to practice is not just limiting his opportunity, but he's also limiting the opportunity for his entire squad, for his team, for his community, right? So practice is not just for you. Yes, it's going to reinforce you, but it's also additive to the other people that you know, love, and trust. So let's boil this down. Your daily meditation practice is first person, is working on you. But because of this, it's you're giving others in your family, in your community, right? All of your colleagues, your working partnerships that you have, they're benefiting too. Why? Because you're giving them the opportunity to have these epiphanies, these aha moments, right? Like, what type of discovery is going to happen in a business setting when you have a bunch of people who are being enlightened and feeling empowered simply because somebody had the fortitude, somebody decided to practice, somebody decided to show up every single day to get better at this one thing so they can tap into the universe, so they can, quite frankly, start to be this conduit to receive infinite intelligence so they can actually share that back to the group. Come on. Like, really, like, what's better than that? Like, there's so many business experts and personal coaches and mindset folks. And let me just share with you, like, there are so many different frameworks that people try to like work through, but I'm distilling this down to the most simplistic, the easiest to activate around, the thing that you're in full control of on a daily basis. I'm giving it to you right now. Meditate. Be intentional. This is not a a claim against any religious. Let's keep the industrial mechanism of religion out of this. Okay, like, stop it. This is just about you taking the time to be one with the universe so you can practice getting this infinite intelligence download, so it informs you, it empowers you, it gives you the type of confidence. So when you step into your best self, you are on your stage, you're stepping in, and the reason you're stepping in with this type of power is because you've practiced it, right? So I wanted to make sure that you guys just kind of take that away with you this morning. Like, this is a thing, like, this is something that is your superpower. And we're going to talk about it on a frequent basis, right? To determine like who actually is focusing on their meditation. So like I said, I'm 50 years in on this transcendental meditation piece. Okay. I know that I am a human being, right? I know the power of actually living and thriving and flourishing through this meditative practice. You need to get some, right? And for those who are, whether you're TM or you really focus on different forms of meditation, please do me a real big favor and just go ahead and comment about that. Comment in wherever you are. We're on multiple platforms. We're on Facebook and LinkedIn and YouTube and X and IG, right? Like, this is where we are. We're about to be on TikTok here in a little bit. The fact of the matter is, wherever we are, please comment, talk to us about your meditation, right? I really want to understand like how your meditation has been informing you, has been empowering your life, has been doing the things that are important for you. And I want to know like how it's been progressing and how you've been being better for, right, practicing in this space. So again, the one thing I want you guys to know is that like, we're here for you, and the things that we're going to continue to do is continue to pour into your daily success. So I'm going to pop a link here, and I want you guys to take a few moments during your day, and I want you to go here to insidersonly.club. I want you to kind of walk around and see what's there. We have the Insiders Only Club is really about helping people who are coming from, that young adolescence. We even have 8th graders that are participating all the way up. We have an 80-something-year-older who's participating. We have people all in between. The reason it's so important is because, again, if information is everywhere and knowledge is really scarce, because you need the knowledge, because the only way to take knowledge is to take it to the next step, which is a monetization model, right? So you know what to do, and then you do it. And doing it is creating profit around your knowledge. We teach you how to do that, right? And that's where I kind of went down that rabbit hole a little bit when I talked about the 10 steps to mastery. This is part of the lesson, the teaching that you're going to get as being a member of the IOC. So uh, go to insidersonly.club, check out the site, watch some of the videos, go down to the bottom, join any of the plans. There is no wrong answer, right? Become a member, share it with some of your other super smart friends, right? Your super smart family members, your community. Share it there. We're building this amazing community around with people who actually get it, right? Sometimes some people are, some things are just not in season for certain people, but everything always comes in season, right? There's 4 seasons, no matter what, like summer, we're in the midst of this. If you're if you're here in the United States and you're watching this, but if you're obviously in Brazil, it's winter, right? But no matter what, all 4 seasons. And so we just want to make sure that everybody has an opportunity to kind of pour in. Don't force feed it to anybody, but those who actually come in willingly, they will benefit immensely. So tomorrow we're going to focus on some of the real benefits of, besides this meditative component to it, how the ILC is going to be additive to your life, why you need it, why it's beneficial to you personally, to your family, to your legacy, to your community, really, to humanity. So with that, I am Jay Lawrence. I really appreciate you taking the time to listen in. And he was done.